Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome on in. Good to see you all. Welcome to Gemma's channel, Gemma Jade. I'm Lara, Paranormal Pixie. I'm glad you all could join me for a little bit of spiritual and mystical chat this evening. I hope you're all having a lovely week. I know that myself, I'm having a hard time getting used to this time change. It's a little rough with it already being dark outside, come 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. So I hope you're all doing well. And so tonight I wanted to kind of get back into doing what we've been doing before, where I would pull out a couple of stones to talk about. And, as many of you know, I am still in classes with Sarah Lamos, working on my mediumship abilities. And one of the things that we covered this week that was a good reminder for me with the time change is how this time of year affects us as um, both normal, everyday people and those of us that are sensitives. And, you're dealing with, you've got less hours of daylight, you aren't spending as much time outside. And so some of us, um, especially sensitives, will be affected by SAD, seasonal disorder, where you end up just kind of getting kind of down in the dumps because you're not getting enough light. The overall energy is lower. You're going into the holidays, which can be a very stressful time for a lot of us. Even though those may also be joyful times, there's still a lot of um, unspoken tension that can go on, whether it's planning family meals, figuring out travel, figuring out, who's going to babysit kids, figuring out um, who's going to go to whose house, how many houses do you have to go to for Thanksgiving, and so on. And so the stones that I decided to pull out, rather than just doing an intuitive pull, I went strictly with ones that could kind of help support us during these darker days, going into late fall and winter. And so I'm going to grab my notebook here. The first one that I wanted to talk to you about was the one that I was drawn to the most for this season. Um, and that is calcite. Now, calcite itself, okay, calcite uh, comes in a variety of colors. It comes in, green, yellow, orange, blue, pink, um, as well as, of course, clear and brown. And it is often translucent, not necessarily transparent, like some, like quartz or something like that. And we'll have wavy lines sometimes. Um, Orange calcite to me always reminds me of uh, dreamsicle because it'll have little swirls of white. And I'm going to put my chair up so that this ladybug is asking to come sit with me. And so right now, what I pulled out for sample to show you is my orange calcite heart. And, if you look really close, you can kind of see the striations of white. And while this one is polished, so it does have a nice shine to it, it does have it a waxy appearance to it, as though it could be made out of wax. Now this one also has just a little bit of iron in the inclusion and the stone. So you'll sometimes see lines like that. And so with calcite, it comes from a variety of places. It's actually a fairly common one that can be found around the world. in the US, in Great Britain, in Brazil, the Czech Republic, and Belgium, among other places. Let's see, it clears negative energy from your surroundings. So, it's a good one to have in the room with you to kind of help clear those negative energies. I know a lot of other um, sensitives that will have calcite um, candle holders. And so you'll have them with the tea light holder hole drilled in the top of them. And we'll have them in the room and just, light a tea light for a little ambiance, helps clear the energies. It connects you with your emotions and it has positive effects on both your motivation and boosts your memory. So, it helps kind of clear your thinking, which can kind of feel a little bit cloudy, a little bit foggy this time of year. It calms the mind and it can help boost memory. And so, just like working on something like this, where I'm trying to relate information to you, it allows a easier frame of being able to find your thoughts, find your uh, train of thought, and express those thoughts. It alleviates emotional stress, something we all need this time of year. It gives a sense of serenity. So another thing that you might do, now you want to make sure you be careful. Some stones you can get wet, some stones don't do so well with a lot of moisture and humidity. Um, I would personally, I would be okay if a little water got splashed on this or something like that. I would not want to get it wet just as a precautionary measure. But you could even have this, say, put it in your bathroom and give yourself a spa day. Do a nice soak with some Epsom salts and maybe some aromatherapy. Eucalyptus is a really good one for helping with mental clarity and calmness. Lavender for calm, chamomile. I'll often put together a little sachet of chamomile and lavender when I do a bath soak and, just throw it in the bath water. So with that, then, it also balances your emotions, removes fear, and helps you overcome depression. So again, I would think about calcite as a really good go-to for helping balance your emotions, helping give you that gentle support that you need. With orange calcite and being associated with the chakras and the colors, think of it, it's also going to be a good support for the lower part of your your gut, your intestines, and your sense of well-being. Um, with something that maybe if you had a yellow calcite, for instance, that's going to be, you know, um, better for the central chakra system. If it was a pink calcite, that would be better for the heart chakra. So, you can take a look at those different colors and the vibrations associated with those colors when you're choosing it. But, calcite on the whole is a really good go-to stone. Okay. Let's see. I also pulled out, uh, oftentimes I have heard some folks mentioned that, you know, orange calcite can be a bit of a um, passion igniter in more than just life and artistry. So, passion in the bedroom, if you're not necessarily wanting to ignite that quite so much, I wouldn't necessarily keep it in the bedroom. or I would go for a gentler color. So, this is peach calcite. It's still going to have the same properties. And you can see it's just a much softer color in comparison than the orange calcite. And so it's going to be, a little bit gentler um, on the energies associated with that color. So then the next one that I wanted to talk to you about, and let's see, where did he go? I found this little guy that I am absolutely in love with. The next stone I wanted to talk to you about is lepidolite. Um, and lepidolite, you will primarily see it in a very juicy, almost bubblegummy kind of purplish color. And I'm going to get him up there so you can see. And this is my little toothless dragon. And of course, the color on the screen doesn't quite do it justice. Sometimes it'll have little pink striations or white striations in it. I also have the lepidolite spheres that I've been practicing wire wrapping. And I know Ghost Dragon is behind the scene. I still haven't wire wrapped the red tiger's eye for you. I wanted to get just a little bit better at it, but you're going to be getting that before very long. So with lepidolite, I wanted to go straight to my crystal Bible. Okay. And for those of you that don't know about it, Judy Hall has written a series of these. This is the Crystal Bible. This is the first issue, the first version. I think she's on up to number 3 now. And her information, she'll have let's see if I can turn that. There we go. She'll have a picture of the stone and then some basic information. And you can see on this side here, I've highlighted what I wanted to read to you specifically. But with lepidolite, she says it comes in purples and pinks. Its appearance can be in plate-like layers, shiny, or sometimes grainy and in mass, and comes in all sizes. Can be easily attained, and sources are the United States, Czech Republic, Brazil, Madagascar, and Dominican Republic. Now, this little toothless dragon here, I know that he is from Brazil, whereas the spears, which I just held up the wrong one, spears that I have are from Madagascar. And that's because I've sourced the spears that I have from Sage Goddess online. And so its basic attributes, and one that I really like about um, using lepidolite is it is known to clear electromagnetic pollution, and it recommends should be placed near computers and other electronics to help absorb those emanations. Lepidolite also contains lithium and will help with and is helpful in stabilizing mood swings. And you'll find that lithium is prescribed a lot of times by doctors for people with certain medical conditions, such as those that are bipolar and that sort of thing, have emotional ties to them. So with lepidolite, it's extremely useful in the reduction of stress and depression. It halts obsessive thoughts, relieves despondency, and overcomes insomnia. It's help, and again, it helps in stabilizing mood swings. Um, and it is also good in helping with dependency and releasing from addictions. So my teacher Athena has even talked about that when she talks about lepidolite for those that ask her, I'm trying to quit smoking, or, I am trying to cut back on sugar or whatnot. What kind of stones do you recommend? And lepidolite is one that she will recommend to her students. Okay. Mentally, lepidolite stimulates the intellect and analytic qualities. With its power of objectivity and concentration, it speeds up decision making, and lepidolite focuses on what is important, filtering out extraneous distractions. So, and that in and of itself, in dealing with this upcoming, with the extra um, dark hours, with the stress of the holidays, can be very important. Emotionally, lepidolite enhances standing in your own space. So, to me, what that means is not necessarily in a forceful way, but standing your own ground and being comfortable in your own skin, if you will. It says helps you be free from the influences of others, and it is a calming stone that soothes sleep, sleep disturbances and emotional stress, bringing a deep emotional healing. One of the other things that um, I will do is I have a small, like a pocket stone, that I actually will keep under my pillow when I am having, either insomnia, stress, difficulty sleeping because of that stress. I'll just keep a small piece of it underneath my pillow to help me sleep. So, that's a little bit about lepidolite. And then the last one I wanted to bring to you is one of my favorite stones. And of course, I didn't bring the black out here, but it's sardonyx. And that's sard onyx. Okay. Let me show you the picture in the book here. And I'm just going to give you a very quick overview of it. So you can see on this page here, there's both black sardonyx and then there's red sardonyx. And I've actually got a piece that's black and white, and it's almost perfect chevrons, which is just beautiful. And the white that you'll see um, is quartz in the matrix, and then the black when you see it is usually straight onyx on its own. And then when you see the red, that means it's got a lot of iron in it. It does cause the red. And so this one, this is one of my favorite palm stones. There we go. Get it where the light shines on it so you can kind of see some of the variation. Let me flip it around. And so you can see, to me, red sardonyx reminds me almost of molten lava. Okay. And in a way, that's the energy that it can bring. Is it um, very hot burning, but slow moving? So it can help with passion as far as artistic passion, with um, just wanting to instill that enthusiasm for life and that enthusiasm for, whether it be for a loved one or family, and wanting to get out there. And especially, this time of year, there's going to be a lot of social gatherings with friends and coworkers, and honestly, you don't want to go out and be a Debbie Downer. And so, a little piece of sardonyx, stick it in your pocket, carry it with you to kind of help add a little pep to your step. and support you in that manner. With this sard, this one in particular is from Brazil, but sardonyx also comes from India, um, Russia, and Asia Minor. So it's fairly easily obtained, but it also depends on the particular region that you get it from as to, how easily. And so it's going to vary in price. Um, a ballpark estimate for a stone this size of quality from Brazil, like this one, you're looking at around 15 to $25, just depending on where you get it, for a good piece of sardonyx. The black and white palm stone that I have, I think I paid 22 for, I want to say roughly. And again, it's a palm stone, so it's about that big. So let's see. See if there was anything else. Oh, one of the things that it um, does say, so with black sardonyx, it also can absorb negativity. So, the black one that I've got, think of it that way, as that onyx, just like a straight piece of onyx, is going to help ground and protect you and help absorb some of that negativity that might happen during these large social gatherings. And then with brown brown sardonyx, and I do happen to have a piece that I can show you. Let me get it to the camera so you can kind of see this. Well, there we go. See the swirls in that piece. I'm going to rotate it here so you can see the colors. Okay. And just like with any of the browns, it's very grounding energy. Think of that. That is root chakra energy. That's very deep, grounded energy. So, um, if you're feeling kind of, maybe a little buzzy, a little lightheaded, a little um, flighty, this is a good grounded stone for you to have with you. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to hold on to it for a little while. You will find that the red sard, like I said, can be a little bit more stimulating. So, I would call, this my cup of hot chocolate. It's warm, it's cozy, it's kind of that comfort grounding feeling where, this is maybe that a little extra shot of something special in your cappuccino to kind of spice things up a little bit, a little cinnamon. So those were the stones that I wanted to bring to you tonight. Another go-to though, real quick, and I don't have a lot of examples right on hand, but you can always pick up a nice piece of banded agate as a good supporter this time of year, um, and carry that around with you. And for the same reasons, it's going to have similar properties where it's very grounding, but it supports the emotions. It helps stave off depression. And it just gives off that gentle energy. One of the things that I purchased for myself uh, about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, on the recommendation of Sarah and a couple of other people. And I'm not going to turn it on because this is brighter than bright. When it first comes on, we'll blow out the screen, and that is a light therapy lamp. Now, this one, I mean, it's super thin, like a little flying saucer, and it has a little kickstand, but I can also like hang it on a hook on the wall. and it just has a little USB plug on it. And basically, it simulates being out in daylight. And so, for somebody like me that can sometimes end up being a shut-in, and like Gemma, which if she's listening, watching, this is something that I'm putting on your wish list, whether you know it or not. Um, when you are indoors, you're not getting enough vitamin D, and your whole immune system, as well as the dopamine and endorphins that help you kind of stay cheerful, get depleted. And this is a way to kind of help support your system, um, to keep you from tanking your emotions when it comes to not being able to get outside as much. And where I live, um, I'm up in the mountains. You've got the colder temperatures. You end up with a lot of moisture. And so it's quite miserable sometimes to go outside during the wintertime. And all you want to do is wrap up in a blanket and stay nice and warm and cozy, and watch movies. And so, I can pop this on and it's going to help kind of keep my mood up, and it's going to help keep my energy up. And so it's just, and then again, an, excuse me, another tool I wanted to bring to you to kind of help support going into this um, season of time change. I would also recommend that if you're a person who likes to do candles, you know, use that to your advantage, because it's it's going to shift the energy in the room. It's going to lighten your mood. It's going to create a gentler vibration, that supports you, that allows you to be more cheerful. And you can also do those as aromatherapy as well. So while I can only burn candles on a very limited basis because of the cats, um, I do have my assortment of candles. This one, as you can see, Sage Goddess, not a paid endorsement, but I love some of their products. This one is one that is honey. Uh, I think it was called Golden Honey. Um, the outside of it's even cut to look like the formation of honeycomb, and it's got a nice, soft, sweet honey smell to it that's just very pleasing. And then, like I use, and of course I don't have it next to me, um, my different sprays that I bought. That, of course, if you've got pets like I do, make sure when you're using any kind of aromatherapy, and I cannot stress this enough, make absolutely sure that it's something that is safe for the animals that are in your house. Yes, we've got humans that come in and out that we also want to protect, but a lot of times we forget to go, okay, I've got a dog in my house. Is this going to be safe if my dog happened to decide to start licking the arm of the chair where that was sprayed because he's interested in smell, or cat, so please make sure you absolutely, you can go online and Google that real easy. Um, there are a lot of good resources out there when it comes to pets and pet safety, especially for this time of year. One of the big proponents that I am is of avoiding lilies and poinsettias around cats. Um, I've known a couple of people that have lost their cats because they got exposed to, and it's the pollen that does it. Um, so, those are ones that I think they're beautiful, but they're not allowed in my house. And if I am around somebody, if I go to somebody's house as a guest, and maybe they've got poinsettias everywhere, I will be very careful about not brushing up against the plants. And if I think that I might have, I immediately, when I get home, come home, uh, grab my bathrobe, go into the bathroom, change my clothing, and it goes straight into the wash just to be safe, to keep those little fur babies safe. So, keep that in mind as you start to go out this holiday season of, what plants you're around as well. Which is a shame, especially with the poinsettias, because that's my birth flower. My birthday is 3 days after Christmas. I was born on the 28th of December, and my husband's birthday is on the 30th of December. So, we're both holiday babies. And, normally, if I didn't have cats or wasn't around cats all the time, I would absolutely have poinsettias. I have silk ones that I'll put out. I go down and I get the really high quality silk flowers, and we'll make silk flower arrangements for the holidays. So, those were just a couple of the things that I wanted to touch base on as far as that goes. I had read to you not too long ago a couple of little stories, um, and on Irish folklore and fairies and fairy tales. Well, I got thinking, I have this absolutely wonderful little book, and it doesn't have a lot of stories in it, but it does have some nice short little stories of fairies and fairy tales, and some of them I can't read yet on here because I'm still getting comfortable with the reading and doing it as a visual for all of you at the same time, because these are Irish based, and so some of the words are a little harder, as well as the way the writers have done it. They The text is such that it would sound like someone who was speaking with an Irish accent. And my Irish accent practice days are behind me at this point. I used to do uh, a form of cosplay, if you will, where the character that I portray has an Irish persona, and so I got pretty good. I could say Thursday, and I could do a little bit, but only a little bit. And after not having done it for a while, I'm not so good. But I wanted to bring to you a couple of these, and especially since the text is a little bit larger in these. Um, this particular book is called Irish Fairy Tales. It's edited by Leslie um, Conran. Okay. And let's see if I can find the publisher, because I want to give them credit. This was published in 2006. Madison Park Press. So I will be discussing as I go, and this is for educational purposes. Um, so the first one is the Legend of Knockfirna, and it's Fierna, Knockfirna, by T. Crofton Crocker. And as the story goes, it is a very good thing not to be any way in dread of the fairies, for without a doubt they have then less power over a person, but to make free with them or to disbelieve in them altogether is as foolish as a thing a man, woman, or child could do. And I know you've heard myself and Gemma both talk about exactly that. That while, we may talk about the fairy folk and the little people, that it's not such a good idea to mock them um, in any way or form, because you don't want to anger those beings. So it has been truly said that good manners are no burden and that civility costs nothing. But there are some people foolhardy enough to disregard doing a civil thing, which, um, whatever they may think, can never harm themselves or anyone else, um, and who at the same time will go out of their way for a bit of mischief, um, which never can serve them. But sooner or later, they will come to know better. And as you shall hear this tale, which is the tale of Carol O'Daly, a strapping young fellow um, that they used to call Devil Baby. And I'm going to try to keep this a little bit shorter because honestly, I can feel the weather changing. And I know you've had me go through this before, and so I can feel the pressure changing. Therefore, my body is actually starting to feel a little bit aggravated with it. So Carol O'Daly used to go roving about from one place to another, in fear of nothing that would stop him. He would, as soon as pass an old churchyard or a regular fairy ground, and do it at any hour of the night, and go from room to room without even making the sign of a cross or saying, "Good luck to you," um, or "to you, gentlemen." It happened that he was once journeying to the county of Limerick, towards the Paperback of Ireland, the venerable town of Kilmallock, and just out of the foothills, he overtook a respectable-looking man jogging along on a white pony. Um, the night was coming on, and they rode side by side for a time, without making any conversation between them, further than saluting each other very kindly, like with a tip of the hat, um, until at once Carol O'Daly asked his companion how far he was going. He said, "Not that far away. I'm only going to the top of this hill here," um, such as he bespoke. "And what might take you there," said O'Daly, "at this time of night?" "Why then," replied the farmer, um, "if you want to know, 'tis the good people," meaning the fairy folk, or the little folk. "Fairies, you mean," said O'Daly, and whist, whist. "Oh, you may be sorry for it," for and in reference to him saying it in a light-hearted manner, without respect. He pointed his pony up towards the path, which led up the side of the mountain, wishing Carol O'Daly a good night as he went, and safe journey. That fellow, Carol thought, is about to no good on this blessed night, and I would have no fear of swearing wrong if I took my Bible oath that there was something else besides the fairies up here. So he followed him up the way that he thought, and saw his little pony there. And there beside the tree, the little fairy door was seen, and the horse sitting beside it, but no sign of the little man. Looking around, he thought, well, perhaps maybe there is something to this tale, but I'm not afraid. And so he picked himself up a rock and thought, I can best these fairies, even if it only be 1 or 10 or 20, as they're only a wee thing. And so he opened up the door and took this great big rock and chucked it deep down inside, heard it bouncing back and forth upon the walls, thinking to himself, I wonder how far it goes, as he leaned and listened as it bounced back and forth. On it went down deep into the tree, until at once he heard a whoosh and whack as it came and slapped him up in the face, knocking him in between his eyes, blacking them both, and knocking him back on his heels. And to his surprise, the only thing that people knew was that he had come upon the fairy tree. It was said that one should not go mocking, or you might end up like Carol O'Daly as he laid dead beneath the tree. So that's just one of many cute and interesting little Irish folk fairy tales of how it's not good to go mocking the wee folk and to be a little kinder and more respectful because you never know what you're dealing with. So with that, the last thing I want to do this evening, we've got just a few more minutes here before I end, is I've got my favorite oracle deck that I like to pull cards from. And this one is Spirit of the Animals Oracle. And I'm pretty sure I've shown these to you all before. Okay. I use these a little differently. And I showed these when I was on Anthony, Unidentified S4's channel last Friday night, which if you haven't had the chance to go look at that, I would absolutely love if you'd do that. He was kind enough to have me on, and I talked about being a spiritual medium, an evidentiary medium, and what that means to me, and gave a little bit of a demonstration reading of how I am now doing readings publicly, um, well, in private for those that ask for them. And so these particular cards have some really beautiful imagery. And while they also have a little bit of text behind the meaning and the agreement behind each card, um, I don't always go strictly by that. I go by the energy of the card. So, to me, if I pulled the wolf card, the wolf, and especially this wolf, to me, that's a lone wolf. That represents being strong and having strength in your own power and walking your own path. And so I just wanted to pull a card, and I'm going to shuffle them a little bit here. And I don't shuffle real well, so be patient with me. But I want to shuffle them a little bit and just pull a card for the collective of those of you that are watching now and that are going to be watching later. And just for the energies for the week between now and the week after Thanksgiving. Okay. So it'll actually be for 2 weeks because next week is, if I have my dates right, is Thanksgiving week. Um, Next week, if it's Thanksgiving week, I will not be streaming. Hoping to mostly spend a little bit of time here with my husband and just relax and enjoy, and possibly go see some friends that live here in town and just enjoy the day. If it's the following week, then that's the week I'll be doing it, taking the week off. So, but for the upcoming energy for the week, just want to see, okay, the energy that I pulled, and I'm going to have to adjust my vision a little bit to read. So it's the white stag, which is the protector. So the words on the card are, you are an old soul. Your best friend is nature. Okay, and I'm not going to read all of that to you. So, being a white stag is a very magical being, and I would definitely equate that as an old soul and being protected by that soul. Now, what's interesting to me, because I work with color agreements and imagery agreements, and I happen to be a Harry Potter fan, the very first thing I think of when I see the white stag is a Patronus charm, and it's a charm of protection. And so, what this tells me in its imagery and its colors is that going forth in these next weeks, you are divinely protected. And I hope that that message resonates with each and every one of you, that your spirit team that are watching over you have your back and that you are divinely protected. Blessings. Thank you, Spirit. And so, with that, I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow night, going live at, I believe it'll be 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, she will be doing her one card oracle readings for those that come in uh, for from 7:30 to, I believe, 10 or 10:30 p.m. Being the last call because she doesn't want to end up too late. Okay, she's going to go a little bit earlier, so 7:15 Eastern is when she's going to start. So if you get there a little ahead of time, Stephen will be putting names down as you get into chat so that she can get started right away. And, make sure you give her plenty of time to give you a reading. And please then also on Saturday from midnight Eastern Standard Time, come see our favorite dragon in his den, Ghost Dragon ZW Steven. And he's going to be doing Gemma replays as well as we'll be doing some visiting and chatting. So come and join him for that. Next week, we'll have Monday, of course. Gemma will have new stories to tell us with her Monday stream. Tuesdays for chillax and chat or coffee chat with Gemma and Steven. And then watch to see announcements for whether or not I will be live next Thursday or if it'll be the following Thursday. I hope you all have a safe, wonderful weekend. Enjoy your evening, and I will see you in the chat room tomorrow night. And I'll try to get by with Steven's chat on Saturday night. And I hope that you all have a blessed and wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Go in love and light, spread kindness and joy, and have a wonderful evening. Bye bye, everyone.